For example, if you are 5 feet tall, you would want to take out 2.5 inches, because remember it's half an inch for every 1 inch over 5'5", or half an inch for every inch under 5'5". Hi everyone, it's Colleen with Made for Mermaids. Welcome to day 2 of our Penelope Sew-a-long. Today we're going to be working on our princess seams. So our first step is going to be matching up our notches and then easing the panels in. So I'm starting with the back just because it was already out on my table. My first step is going to be matching up the notches. If you forgot to cut the notches out, you can just lay your paper pattern piece over top and just use a fabric pen to mark the notches now. Once the notches are matched up, I'm just going to go through and finish clipping the seam in place. You will have to do a tiny bit of easing. You really shouldn't have to stretch either panel to fit, but it will need to ease a little bit. Because remember, the body is 3D, so we are working the seams to fit that. If you're finding that you are having to stretch, I would go back and double check your paper pattern pieces just to be sure that you cut along the right line, the right size. So it'll look like this if it's right side out. In a few minutes we'll go and stitch that up. Go ahead and do the other side. Again, I'll match the notches up and then ease the rest of the panels together. Matched up all the notches. I'm going to go ahead and ease in the rest of the panels. Back piece is ready to be sewn up. I'll set that to the side for just a minute and we can knock out the front. Same thing again, I'm going to match up the notches on the front and then ease the rest of the panels in. I know it seems like common sense, but if you're anything like me, most of your sewing happens late at night. So it's easy to make mistakes that you normally wouldn't make. So just double check that you are attaching your panels the right way and that you're not attaching to the wrong side. That would make for an interesting dress. I always like to triple check things like that to avoid the dreaded seam ripper. one side is all clipped, we'll go ahead and do the other. If you're not sure if you're clipping the right side, what I like to do is just kind of lay it back out again and see if it makes sense. You would be able to tell, so if it was the wrong side, it would be like this, and you can tell that this is not a good fit. So you can lay it like that, and then flip it with right sides together, just to double check. I know all the clipping seems so tedious, but it's definitely better than getting to the bottom of your seam and realizing that you have too much dress left on either side. Again, just about anything to avoid the seam ripper. I think that's become my sewing mantra. Okay, we are all clipped. We are ready to sew up those seams. I'm going to sew up the front first, and remember to be extra careful about your seam allowance so that we don't end up with extra notches and things like that. So go ahead and sew that up. See when we flip it around, there it is from the front. Once we give this a good steam, it will lay a little bit nicer. And I was undecided about top stitching, but I think I might go ahead and do it. I actually think I'm going to use pink, like a melon color, just because why not? Go ahead and sew the other side again with that 1/2 inch seam allowance. And that is it for day 2. Tomorrow we will work on top stitching our princess seams as well as sewing up our shoulder seams. We'll see you then.